Well, I truly do believe, and well, I believe that the Lord is for every single person. And I know a lot of people say that are religious associated, but I actually mean that. And that's why I do a lot of the stuff I do, to try to meet people exactly where they may be at, even if they're not in a good place at all. I don't like anyone to feel like they are alone or that their situation is invisible. And even if it was visible, that nobody cares, because that's not the truth. The remnant, we do care. Okay. That being said, what did I am mindful of criminality, and unfortunately, with criminality comes human suffering, and very serious human suffering. Sometimes the type of human suffering where if you're West, you don't speak about it, right? And I'm thinking about getting into a series, but I'm not sure I have the grace. Everybody's not called to do everything. So only God knows if I will or not. But a series indicating really serious questions and trying to answer them head on with biblical wisdom. It's actually not unique to my channel. I remember years ago, but it was years ago, where another before YouTube even, Christians, there was a ministry that was facing such questions. I mean, the questions people don't talk about, which to their credit, actually, to their credit, okay, I want to continue on in that vein, because I believe that there is a place for all people in the church, okay, provided you're not trying to bring the devil and witchcraft, okay, there's a place, provided you're seeking Jesus and not the Satan, okay, because you're not welcome for that, okay. Right. So that being said, once again, I keep forgetting, and I think it's because I'm tired. Okay, so question. This is a very difficult question, okay? I'm putting my plate if people like Boko Haram, okay? Which Mr. President Trump, to his credit, made extremely extraordinary efforts against them and prevailed. And this was definitely a good thing that he did in the course of his life. I pray for his salvation if he's not saved. I certainly do. But that is unquestionably a good thing he did. But nonetheless, we have Boko Haram here in America. Okay. You see that with the Epstein files. You see that with Epstein, New York, where they sold the children for food stamps to Mendambi. Okay. So you see that. And we have a situation now where I pose this question to you, right? Hopefully it never happened. But I'm going to pose some questions. I'm going to try to tackle them. They're difficult questions, so thank you once again for grace, because they're very difficult questions. Okay, so before you judge my answer, understand what I'm trying to answer here. It's gigantic, okay? So give me some credit for that, please. Okay, so I am a man, okay? And if this blesses you because it's hitting something and you didn't have the courage to ask, or you want to keep it in your memory bank just in case, I'm happy that I kind of took one for the team, essentially. Go figure. But let's begin, okay? So I am a man, and I'm interested in preserving my relationship. Sadly, as much as this young woman is smiling and grinning, she's about to say something that's not awesome. Okay, remember the introduction. Okay, so Boko Haram, right? America. So I was present, okay, when either there was chronic, egregious abuse, okay, and whatever the situation, I was rendered helpless to do anything about it, or I could have done something about it, but perhaps something would have happened to me or someone else that I love. But nonetheless, my wife, my sister, someone that you would presume that I would be, attached to or something. I want to preserve this relationship, or should I preserve this relationship after egregious abuse has taken place and I did nothing to stop it, right? Um, and how would I answer that even though I'm not Solomon? First of all, right, let's say there's a home invasion, and the invasion lasts for 2 weeks. Okay, the home invasion lasts for 2 weeks. That's usually unheard of for America, because typically something is gonna let someone know that something's wrong. But let's make it, stretch it, and say it's 2 weeks. Now we know that abuse can last for a long time, especially certain situations. But let's maybe give various examples here to work it out, to where people can be like, okay, now I know what I would or would not do, or I never thought about that. Okay, so can that relationship be preserved? And you watched your wife be raped several times, and you could not or did not do anything about that. That depends on the parties. Okay, and please also let me interject something here. Because I'm not Solomon, and this is not prophecy, right? The good part is there's a lot of wiggle room here, provided you're not, of course, sinning. There's a ton of wiggle room, because if you notice, Solomon had finesse that is, well, supernatural, of course, right? And so finesse is like wiggle room. Okay, so I'm gonna throw, because I'm not Solomon, I will not pretend to be Solomon. I'm gonna throw some Charity, or C Unique, my stage name, my artist name, at this. Okay, so how does the wife feel? Okay, first of all, after extreme abuse, what is the personality type of the wife? Now, a lot of people, especially, there is agendas. Okay, so many people speak, actually they speak for victims, and they don't do it in a godly way, actually. So many people present that if you wrong someone, especially sexually, and in this case, as a husband, you didn't intervene, you didn't interject, you did not save, or prevail against the accoster or whatever. So there is a mindset that speaks for the victim, but it actually, and this is going to be hopefully it doesn't make people hate me. It probably will. But they speak for the victim, but they don't love the victim. I said that. Victims advocates that don't love the victim? Are you serious? Yeah. It's called spiritual warfare. What do you think? It's all about manipulation. Real love comes from Jesus. So yeah, totally, right? Fake empathy is a real thing in America, and it has got to go. Like, either love me real, or just don't pretend to love me at all. But just let's not do the fake stuff, please. You can keep that to yourself, okay? I don't need your fake love, okay? So, what's the personality? Because, the agenda is the domineering spirit that wants to own and possess the voice of all victims, but really it's all people. But the devil has been very, very adept. And now he's grabbed the voice with the consent of all people, including many victims who are too ashamed to be like, can you please let me speak for myself and stop you answering for me? Thank you. Okay. Okay, victim. So, but especially this is a problem with the Democrats. Yeah, it's a thing that certain groups of people have demons that they struggle with more than others. It is also a thing that the church, the Ecclesia of America, is too fake and too cowardly to say that, even though it's the truth. Okay? Black people continue to struggle with sex and self-pity. White people continue to struggle with being fake and racist, right? And perversion. And the perversion now is being the white perversion issue is starting to influence black people. So black people are starting to become perverts too. I mean, hey, you can, all right, maybe I'm lying. I don't know, why would I do that, but okay. All right, so moving on. So That's to say that if that is the truth, it is possible entirely that Satan can take people's voices away, voices who may actually present another angle to the situation, another perspective, but it's not in service to the beast system. So he wants the victims to shut up. He already knows what the script is for them. They need to just be mindful and let him speak. And that is a lot of people who are victims' rights advocates. Not all, but a lot of them, right? They know how you feel. And they know what's best for you, too. So shut up. Okay, so what is the personality of the woman? Because women are different. Like, people tend to be different. So what was the marriage? Was that marriage, like, were they married for like 2 months? Like, I don't know what to tell you, dude, because I don't know if that's going to last. But were they married for like 5 years or 10 years? But even then, the 2 months thing, especially if it was like a really huge love affair or something like that, then I suppose it could, work. But what is the personality of the victim? That would be the woman. Okay, is she resilient? Was it a happy marriage? Was it a happy marriage before the attack ever occurred? Does she want her marriage? Because some women want their marriage, like, even after their marriage has been under attack. But you won't know that unless you ask her. Which the devil, like I said, does not want you to do. He wants you to be false kind and tell the victim to shut up, because you know what's best for her. And of course, the apostate church will do that every step of the way, because they're not being moved by the Holy Spirit, because they're frauds. Not all of them, but many, right? So, anyway, so what is that? But then, is she of a soft personality? Like, because some people after attacks, they are not the same without deliverance, extreme deliverance. And in that case, maybe one of the best things a husband could do in that case is be a caretaker. That is very serious. And I want to be honoring of those very serious cases in which she does not even speak anymore. Yeah. Okay. These things, mind you, because the devil prevails in a fake church and fake society, especially an Epstein fake society, such as America, right? Epstein, New York. What's up, New York? Anyway, Mount Honey. So here's good news. These things are not new. The sad part is we live in a fake America and a fake church where they make you feel like this is the first time such a thing has happened to anybody. People used to be so strong. It would blow your mind. A lot of people, I believe, got by simply not talking about, not rehearsing what really hurt them, which, if you think about it, makes a whole lot of sense. Right? I believe sometimes they also did not talk about what really hurt their loved one, which also makes a whole lot of sense when you really think about it. When you're not the type that's going to stop eating and stop working and stop raising your children. Like, back in the day where people had to actually live or die. But no one is going to just sit here and just like kind of work out this in-between space with you for years on end. I'm not saying I would never. There's no place for empathy or compassion. I'm saying people were stronger when everyone knew that when hordes breach walls, this routinely happens. Everyone knew it. People were mature. People were grounded. Men knew it. Women knew it. I would dare say young people knew it. Everyone knew, and if there was a breach, it was presumed most likely because people were smart and they had common sense. They know that they didn't come breach the walls to pass out cupcakes. So people were resilient and people were strong, the men and the women. I was looking at a documentary. This was a while ago. It wasn't recent. But I saw a documentary. I forget whether it was Attila or or Genghis Khan. It was either Attila the Hun or Genghis Khan. And his wife was stolen. His wife was stolen. This was, I believe, a very young lady. She was stolen. She was said, I believe, to be very beautiful. And when she was stolen, I believe she told her husband, which is wow, because back in those days, I can't imagine that'd be easy. He may have asked her, he may not have, because like I said, back then people were very resilient and very strong and more mature, frankly, than this generation. Okay, so he probably presumed that they touched her, but nonetheless, I don't remember if she told him or anything, but his wife, it was either Genghis Khan or Attila the Hun, and his wife was stolen, and he really loved that woman though. So, cause it's impressive that he liked that woman so much that he went and got her back, which is impressive. Cause I'm like, my goodness, she must have been some type of woman, okay? Because like legit, this guy had all the money, okay? He had all the money, and instead of just getting another wife, he wanted the wife that the other guy stole. And so he went and took his wife back. But meanwhile, when his wife came back, she had a baby. Okay? And forget the timing of it, but the timing leaves you with a question mark. Who baby was it? To this day, the documentary says they don't know. Okay? The documentary said that he, of course, because it wasn't her fault. Oh, by the way, yeah, like, of course, I wouldn't be saying baby and it'd be a question if she wasn't raped, right? So she, unfortunately, yeah. And so she went on to be a wife to her husband after this. She went on to be a mother. I'm trying to tell you, and this is, look, the devil, I'm trying to tell you, fake people and the devil are going to try to make you reject this, saying it's hate and it's not love. I'm trying to tell you, no. What they are trying to do to you is not love. Trying to make you, I don't want to say it, I won't say it. But that's not love. This is love. Okay, this is what love looks like. Real love, okay? And frankly, what he did is it's impressive, because I don't even think the man was saved. That just goes to show that some people love their wives and some people don't. It's horrible. It's horrible. Every man should love his wife, right? If you're a wife, he should love you. But some do and some don't. Some really, really do, because he went and got her. I mean, he didn't even care. He didn't care that he slept with her, which he did. He raped her. And he still went back in and he was like, I still want my wife. I'm like, she must have been an amazing woman. She must have been, right? So his wife was defiled, okay? But must have been an amazing woman, because he went and snatched that woman right on back. Like, hey, yoink, this is mine. So all that happened. I'm sure that was really scary, okay, for her. And it was definitely traumatic for him. But he defended both their honor, got her back. Nonetheless, this baby actually, and there was no killing the baby. He raised the baby. He forgave, like, all that he didn't help. This is really advanced, right? And they tell you, look, we are so advanced, we are so evolved. You have to be like Democrat, because this is a Democrat struggle here mostly. You have to be Democrat in order to be evolved and stuff. Like, no. How about, what's evolved? Being like, it's not my wife's fault that she was raped. That's evolved. It's not my wife's fault that she was raped and ended up pregnant. That's evolved. And not only that, but I still want to be married to my wife. And this, I don't know who this baby is. if this baby is mine biologically or not, but as her husband, I have a right to raise this baby. Because if you really think about it, if a man's wife is taken at any time, that's his wife. So if someone wrongfully, and it can only be done wrongfully, they forfeit any rights to the child. Hear me out here. They forfeit any right to that child, because guess what? If the child is conceived in fornication against the man who is the rightful husband, he has a right to that child. He has a right to that child because the child came through his wife. Whether it is biologically his child or not, that's his child now. Either way, okay? That is evolved, okay? There's a lot of modern men that can't wrap their heads around what I just said. Talk about a dumpster fire. But guess what? When you have two people, okay, a woman that is like, I'm this man's wife and I'm his wife. So yeah, like I got kidnapped and accosted and I'm pregnant, but this is our baby and we're going to raise our baby because that's what I'm supposed to do. Like sometimes keeping stuff simple in one's head is the answer. Like, go figure, right? Keeping it simple in your head is the answer. And we're not going to talk about this like every day because that's just dumb. Like, this is our baby and this is our marriage. And that is so cool that my husband came in and got me. Thankfully. Because she would have been, she must have been an amazing woman, because I think that he would have kept her. Okay, so she must have been a really amazing woman. Okay, but nonetheless, original hubby came back and got his wife, and that pretty much is how people back in the day that didn't have this new mentality, new mindset of current modern people had, where they took reality for what it was and they dealt with reality. Okay, so what is the reality? Clearly, if wife is non-verbal, she either needs a miracle or she needs time, or all you can do is be a loving, empathetic caretaker. Because I doubt you want to engage because she's clearly not there. Okay, but if she is resilient, such as this woman who got kidnapped and impregnated and went on to raise a happy family and be a wonderful wife, right? If that is who she is, because women and people are individuals, then you can go on to have a happy life, okay, with your wife, okay? Now, many times people, the modern world is advanced, but the modern world suffers one thing. It doesn't use common sense. What can I tell you? Like, all the knowledge in the world, access to all the knowledge in many different languages, but the modern world don't have common sense. So you don't continuously rehearse this over and over and over and over again, because that's not healthy. Okay, that's not going to be helpful to anybody. And frankly, back in the day, they probably knew there's some things you just don't talk about. Everyone already knows. The whole village saw Madam get snatched. They already know. They saw her come back with a belly, or they heard that she was no longer in menses. So clearly, something, probably conception, has taken place, and they can deduce because they're mature. Like, we may never know who's the biological father, but guess what? That's his wife. She's one of us. And we move on, and we live, and we do, okay? Back in the day, that was the prevailing mindset of people. Now it's like, let's ask a billion questions about this. Let's talk about this. let's do like a 12, 10, 15, 20 step program in regards to this. Let's see what these people think and what these people think, and let's take a poll, and like let's look at the statistics. What does the statistics say? Hey, I don't want to say it because then I'll interrupt my what does the statistics, what is the likelihood if somebody gets snitched, what's the likelihood of her marriage, surviving? Like, what are we doing? That's modern day though. Modern day, like, you can't get past modern day not having common sense. What can I say? So, is it complex? Yes, it is. And not to belittle the situation, it's very complex. But first thing you do is you look at the victim and you look at, okay, well, does she want her marriage? Is she mentally there to even have that conversation? Legally, the ball is in your court because you're already married, right? The problem here is like maybe feelings of betrayal or something like that, or feelings of inadequacy or guilt or whatever. But provided that you didn't set it up, in which case I feel like she shouldn't stay married to you, dude. That's a whole nother, that's trafficking, okay? And I can't get behind that because provided you didn't set it up, okay, then I think that there's an excellent chance, depending upon how wife was affected. There's different ways of love. I'm an artist, but then I'm also a believer, and I'm absurd about my faith. You could stay married. You could divorce and never remarry. It depends on how much you love her. It depends on how much you love this woman. Okay, so you could wait for her to get better or be ready. You could, but the question is, what is the common sense? Because that's what you're usually not going to hear in the modern world. What's the common sense thing to do? What does she want to do? Does she want to be married, or does she want you just to be patient because she's going through some trauma or something? Or does she just not want anything to do with any man anymore? Right? And maybe not even there, which is the worst case scenario. In that case, like I said, the Holy Spirit, I'm sure, can guide you in what you can do, because guess what? And this is where the church in modern day don't move in common sense, right? If something is so wonderful, why did you abuse it? If someone was so wonderful, why would you allow them to be abused? Why didn't you do something? If a child has so much worth and value, why did you let the child be abused? If children are so important to America, why did New York sell them out for food stamps and housing and medical care? The hard part is this: in a wicked nation such as America, okay, for it is wicked, and a ecclesia that is for the large part wicked too and corrupt. Not all, of course, the remnant is not wicked, but the ecclesia for a large part wicked and corrupt. Okay, because a lot of people who are continuing in sin, they're starting to form ministries, more than likely. I won't say I know for sure, because I don't want to lie or lose my integrity over here. So I'll say I'm thinking that's probably what's taking place. There's sinners that are becoming prophets and prophetesses. There's straight up sinners that are taking on mantles that God did not, more likely didn't give them. That doesn't make me right. I'm thinking that's probably what's some of what is going on, what's bringing about so much confusion, including in the body of Christ. So, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yeah. So the fact is that one of the things that the church struggles with her moral authority is first her sin and her corruption and her hypocrisy, because people don't like to look at people who are doing the same or worse than what they're doing, telling them what they can and cannot do, right? And that's even your best people, because some people always look for excuses, and I would never marry a man that is always looking for an excuse. And that's a lot of the Black community, always looking for an excuse to sin, right? It doesn't matter what that excuse is. They will find an excuse faster than any job, right? It's just an excuse. That's all they need. They're not looking for a way. They're looking for an excuse. Not context, ladies and gentlemen. Context is key here. Okay. However, the church grapples with her hypocrisy and her fraud, causes her to grapple with things such as common sense, because that is a good and valid question. If something has so much value, why did you spit on it? It takes a courageous person that's past all that to ask such a question, even in a hypothetical format such as this. So the church finds a hard time answering questions like this in many different ways. When she's actually the go-to, even before the United States government. It's supposed to be the ecclesia. The ecclesia, first God, the ecclesia, and then the United States government. But the ecclesia can't, because of her sins, her many sins that she is currently dealing with. So she can't come with that common sense, because it is common sense. Okay? So the Bible says, don't throw your pearls to swine. And if children are so important, why are you selling them for political favors from Mendani? Right? Why are you Epsteining them? Why are you treating the sanctimonious and sacred Epstein situation like a play, and you are using it for entertainment purposes only? You want to get the other party, and you actually care more about that than you care about the victims. Maybe I struck a nerve. Maybe I didn't. God wants true love. In marriages, first Him. He wants true love first for Him. Worship Him in spirit and in truth. He will not accept your other alternatives. Just because your weak-minded girlfriend will, doesn't mean He will. Or the man that you manipulate so easily with your enchantments and your low-cut blouse and all that. That's not God. He doesn't want your fake. He wants only all of you. Okay? So, the church is unable, she's rendered by her hypocrisy and her own corruption. She's unable to answer this with effectiveness and common sense, because it doesn't make sense. Just in case you're wondering, you don't throw pearls to swine. You don't sell the greatest treasure you have, which is your wife or your husband or your children, to perverts or to the government or to Epstein. And you don't talk about their molestation for ratings. These are things you just don't do unless you are Epstein America, right? Then you totally do it. You feel comfortable doing it. I mean, if it's politically advantageous, you're for it. All for it, okay? So, okay. The answer goes further. I'm sorry about that. I'm poor. I don't have a tailor. Okay, I do try. I'm sorry about that, especially any gentleman. Okay. Right. But nonetheless, for the most part, I am presentable. Would you not agree? Okay. All right. So, yeah. So here's the truth. But if you notice, the truth is going to be unpopular, because once again, and I've said it, typically when someone's lying, it changes. You notice how it's consistent. What I say is consistent, from upload to upload, from year to year is consistent. It just meshes. It works, because I'm not lying, okay? So the truth, unfortunately, you are, whether you want to believe it or not, you're in an environment. Anytime you feel guilty because you want to get married, or you feel guilty because you want to be abstinent, or you feel guilty because you're a virgin, you are in upside down America, okay? You are in, whether you want to accept it as reality or not, you are in spiritual warfare, okay? because it took work that you may not even be aware. You don't have to be aware for something to be real. It's real. So even if you don't know, you're unaware that work has been done on you and on your environment, most likely, to get your environment so rife with sin that people are not feeling guilty for fornicating. People are feeling guilty for not fornicating. Do you know how much diabolical, demented work has to be done on any atmosphere to get people to be guilty for doing the right thing and thrive and feel shameless for doing wrong things? A lot of work took place. You just didn't notice it. But it's still going on, just in case you are still unaware. Okay? So don't be surprised if it's something else next year. Okay? So that being said, why am I saying that? Because it's going to be in conjunction with another truth that I'm about to share with you. And that is this. You who might feel resistance and you're trying to do the right thing, right? Because you actually want to do right, including from the church. Right? Is it everybody's a baby mama on the choir, including me? But God forbid you actually want to do the right thing. Then resistance is coming from the first lady, from the preacher, from the choir. It's crazy. Like that would never happen. The wedding date keeps being moved back and back and back, and people saying I can't come, I can't RSV, I can't. And I'm like, and you're like, this is so bizarre. If I didn't know no better, I would feel like the resistance is coming from the religious people and the heathen. I'm getting it literally from both sides. You can't make this stuff up now, can you? Okay? All right. So, the other truth is this, that it's going to be hard, though. It's going to be hard. You're going to, when you are surrounded by spiritual warfare, okay, which you are, unfortunately, if that's you, the truth is going to not be easy to maintain. You're going to have to be intentional, because the whole point of the spiritual warfare is to pervert the environment that you're in, to undermine anything positive, anything good, anything wholesome, anything holy, God forbid, that you achieve doing. Like what? Like not having your child molested. I said, look, don't. Whoever told you that is easy in the Epstein United States of America does not love your soul. I don't care if it's a man, I don't care if it's a prophet. Whoever would say something like that is the wolf, and you need to run. In the Epstein America, where now Uber is in a class action lawsuit, and they're coming out, I think, with something where they want to be able to get your young people. And I'm not saying that you cannot avail yourself to such, but I'm saying keep your eyes open, saints. They want to be able to pick up your young people without any supervision whatsoever, and adults who are experienced. And I'm not ashamed to tell the truth, especially for a young man or a young woman or a child. I have died daily. I gladly do it. I'm not trash like many people. Hey. My German Shepherd got happy for no reason. I don't know why. So I had to wait and give him some time because he was just excited for no reason. Right? I don't know what I'm putting off here, but especially talking about such sad stuff, but he just got so happy. Maybe he's happy because he's like, girl, don't worry, I got you. let's celebrate, because ain't nobody touching you with me right here. Maybe that's why he's so happy. Like, he's like, girl, stop worrying about that. I will literally kill them. Is it. So, getting back to it. The reason why I'm saying that the truth will be difficult is because that's the whole point of perverting the environment, okay, that you're in. So the truth that is difficult is going to be this. That's why people commit suicide. That's why people struggle. That's why people need to be reassured sometimes. And that's why sometimes it is better. I'm going to go with the old folks on this, because they knew how to live and not die and not commit suicide. Sometimes you just don't talk about certain things. It's just off the table. You don't need to. It doesn't make you happy. It doesn't make your wife happy. So why talk about it? The old people kept it simple. They knew what they were doing. Okay? So, the truth is, that's going to be hard to maintain, because an environment of spiritual warfare where you can flip the truth, that's the only way you can. Because anybody's going to say, well, the victim is precious if they're not the devil, the literal devil. But in an environment that has been twisted, an environment that has been demented, which America is a demented environment, just in case you've been living under a log or a rock. Okay. You can easily now say, okay, well, that's what people say, but come on now. Like, seriously, the village that you're in is not reaffirming that. The village that you're in helped you be abused. They all knew. They encouraged it. Like, you've been sold from like 15, you were sold between 15 men, transported between 3 different nations, countries. A lot of people knew what was happening to you. And no one, you know how hard, and the devil knows, especially when a lot of people, that village, socialization, when that village is abusive, because it takes a village to raise a child, and it takes typically a village to abuse a child, or a person, or traffic people, right? It takes teamwork to traffic. Get them. So anyway, people struggle because of an environment that has been twisted. America is a twisted environment. America is an environment where people are scared. And people are scared, and they don't know that just because you're scared don't mean you can lose your mind, essentially, like the Pilgrims did. Okay, putting the Holy Remnant in a concentration camp because they were uncomfortable. Right? Like, people are scared. People are lustful. And no one knows. No one knows. And many of you really need to be smart. God did not tell you to not be intelligent. And if you have a wife or a husband that is particularly cunning and intelligent, you should listen to them. Because this is not the time to be dumb. And I'm not saying that out of hate. I'm saying that because I love you. There are people around you, you don't know what they're struggling with. And the enemy will present them with a situation, and you don't want them to have access to you or your child when they're presented with that situation that they have been struggling with, that you know nothing about. You need to wake the hell up and listen to your spouse, who God knows, as he said with Abigail, is a smart person. So when they say, baby, stop telling people all our business. Baby, don't give them our address. Baby, run a background check. You need to listen to your spouse, who God gave wisdom. There is people there. Do you know that there is literally people in the Bible that God said, this person is smart? That means he does not say everyone else is stupid. He's saying Abigail was particularly smart. Those people, you should listen to them when they tell you maybe you should run a background check. Stop leaving Jessica with anybody. The timing is off. Why are all these things happening around the same time? Don't be stupid, especially not with your child. So that second truth is this, and you're gonna say it's common sense. It is common sense, but it's the common sense that the devil is successfully fighting in an environment. The village is abusive. Go figure. So much for the village. So much for the socialization. Like all kinds of socialization in those trafficking rackets. Diddy was socializing he was all kinds of socializing. Like that's not the type of socialization I want my family to have. Or you should want your wife or your children to have. Like, no thank you. We'll pass. Okay. But nonetheless, and by the way, while it might seem like I'm being outrageous, that's exactly what he means. It's better to err, even if you don't like somebody like me, when they're talking about something serious, right? Like your family. It's better to err with the person you don't like. Because the chance, what happens if they're right? That is what he's talking about. The devil is not interested in your family being well adjusted. Are you on crack? The devil is not interested in your family being well adjusted. The pretexts going out into this earth are diabolical spiritual warfare. And my heart will be grieved because I love people. But guess what? I'm not going to lose sleep because a few out of rebellion, no matter how much you give sound good advice, they just going to be rebellious anyway and gamble with their loved ones. When someone who's not getting paid gives you all kinds of sound wisdom, like, I don't know, the devil does not care. And you know what's so much worse? When your wife that you were playing gambling with and your child that you were gambling with because you wouldn't listen to a woman who's known to be smart, when the crime is committed upon them by the very people who socialization, and they laugh in your face. There's nothing more treacherous than that. And I would never wish that on nobody, but that's what the devil does. He first lies to you. Then he gets you to not listen to wise counsel. And then he commits the crime against you. And then he laughs in your face. One of the reasons why he knew you should, why didn't you listen? I mean, you didn't even give her money. You didn't even give her credit. She don't have no followers. She don't have no money. She's listening to you do, and she's serving you for hours and hours. Every sign was there that this is the real deal. And you didn't listen to her. And now your child is molested. Okay, right? But I won't lose no sleep because everything we do is supposed to be unto God. So I don't mind looking like a fool. I don't mind using holidays that many people are out looking for a man or looking for a woman. And I'll serve God on those days sometimes. Like a fool, right? I don't mind. I have a sound conscience. I'm going to get good sleep because I do everything for Jesus. Even if I don't get credit, I don't get a thank you, or even worse, I get hate for the love that I give. For the love that I give, I get hate in return. Like, you know what? You don't deserve your children. You lying. Wow, where was the lie? Oh, okay, Epstein, America. Like, and the lie is where, actually? Like, we're not Epstein, America. We hate that. Where's your proof? Where's your proof? Like, your proof is New York? Your proof is New York? Like, where you sold the children for TANF and housing and medical care? Is that your proof? Isn't that proof for me and not for you? Like, I haven't sold my children for TANF for medical care. God forbid. Look, I'm going to say something diabolical. I might even make you think if we're starving, because I'm going to feed my babies if I can. If I can. I'm going to feed them. If we're starving and I tell you, okay, deal. I'm lying. I'm lying. Look, are you serious? I'm lying through these pretty teeth because you can't have my babies. I will take your money. I'm that type of woman. I'm not stupid. I'm that type of woman. I will take your money. You're not walking away with my child. I don't care what I told you. Two wrongs. Do you know that two wrongs don't make a right? Do you know that you cannot call the cops for committing a secondary crime? Meaning, if you're asking to commit a crime, you can't be like, hey, cop. Yeah, she was like, oh, yeah, like, sure. Oh, give me TANF, give me food stamps, and sure, you can have my babies. And I was like, okay, well, here's the TANF, here's the food stamps. And then she was like, okay, psych. And then she ran off with the TANF and food stamps, and she didn't give me, like, and they're going to laugh in your face. Because, yeah, like, no one in the right mind is going to make good on that. Hopefully New York is the same. I don't know. I'm going to call them for what they look like. Hopefully they're like me. Like, yeah, like, we told him that he could have that. But if he even so much as, it's going to be a problem. We will boot him out so fast it ain't even funny. So hopefully they like me, because I'm that type. Like, oh yeah, I'll take your money now. Like, okay, thank you. Like, okay, so can I have your child? Like, what child? The child that you said I can't, like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, the child right there, like, get away from me. I will call the whole cops on you, okay? I will call the FBI, the Navy, the Marines, and everybody on you, okay? I will call the Navy SEALs and everybody. Team 6 or whoever.